Okay, I will start the meeting now. Hi everyone, happy to see all of you and welcome back to today's session organized by VODAN Africa, and my name is Tu. And we have an important agenda today. It is a final deployment preparation. So I will copy paste the agenda on the chat box. And as always, try to keep your mic muted during the presentation to prevent background noises. And if you have any question, please raise your hand or type them into the chat box. And now I will now hand over to you, Prof. Miriam, to lead the session.
Yeah, thank you, Putu. Meanwhile, maybe everybody can also ask others to join, because I really think it's a very, very important meeting today. And it would be nice if everybody was there. So I see Zimbabwe there, Ronald is there, I see Dr. Ibrahim and Nigeria colleagues there. Ezra, I think Olawole is also coming, Ezra. Of course, the Mekelle team I was seeing, but have they just jumped out? Or because I saw them coming in. I see Araya there, Tesfit, Samson. Okay, that's good. Bit, I don't see Bit. Erik. Is Bit with you, maybe?
Oh, he cannot join us today, so
okay.
I will brief him.
You will brief him. Okay, that's good. Jeremiah, but Jeremiah I've spoken earlier today. He was in one of the other meetings, so that is okay, I think. So what about Jamal? He's not there, from Somalia. And Wondimu. I'm missing Wondimu also. So let me try and get... Wondimu is not coming up. Why is he not coming up? Sorry, just wanting to make sure that, and Aliyah is not there. Oh, Aliyah's there. Aliyah, you are there.
Yes, I'm here.
We can't have this meeting if you're not there. And what about Professor Francesca? And Dr. Sakinat. So Ephraim. Hello, Ephraim. Good afternoon, Ephraim.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Thank you for joining. I somehow can't find Dr. Wondimu in my WhatsApp. Can you ask him to join if he can? Because we have a really important meeting today. It'd be better if he was able to join.
Okay, let me try.
Thank you. So I don't know, Putu, do you have information from Professor Francesca?
No, Prof. Miriam, but Dr. Reginald have a problem with internet, so but he's still joining the meeting, but he have a problem with he has a problem with internet connection.
Okay.
I think he just joined the meeting.
Yeah,
Is that you, Dr. Reginald? The MA Social Transformation. I think that's Dr. Reginald.
I think so. Yeah, must be. Okay. And Jamal has joined. So we are missing Dr. Wondimo, Dr. Reginald, and Professor Francesca. So VC, can I hand over to you for the opening of this meeting? And do you feel that we can start this meeting, or should we? I think Dr. Reginald has joined, so we're just waiting for Dr. Wondimo and Professor Francesca. VC.
Professor
Okay,
Francesca is joining.
Professor Francesca is joining, good.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This, I think, would be another historic day where we I want to thank everybody who has joined and hope that we'll get another milestone. Professor Miriam and the other technical teams, we are grateful. Of course, we had a very interesting meeting today. Some of us who were able to attend, that was taking place at Leiden. I want to inform you that Miriam ably showcased the achievements so far done, and hopefully we can progress even higher. Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you very much, VC. Well, the good work of me is done on the good work of many others, and really big congratulations today to everyone. I think I will share my screen, and then I will ask others to also contribute, and then we follow the agenda of Putu. Putu, thanks again for putting the meeting together. This is the presentation from this morning, but I'm not going, I mean, you all know all of this, but there are two things that I want to show. And that is, first of all, first of all, this this is from G2, and the presentation that G2 prepared. And this one, of course, you will recognize as our starting architecture. And this was very important because we decided when we started, we decided that one of the specifications and requirements was that we would not add workload to the health facilities. That is why we said we need to have one input editor, we need to allow bulk upload, and we also need to have this export to the health management information system, and that should be automatic. So Samson and the team arranged all of this process. And then we said, well, if we have machine actionable data, then the beauty is that we input the data once here with the CEDAR system that Aliyah and Mariam put in place, and with all of the data stewards prepared the templates according to exactly the working specifications in each health facility. But then once we have this data, we can use them for so many different purposes. And so the first purpose that was identified through the work of Mariam is that the data wouldn't stay normally within the health facility. So to add an internal analytic system was kind of the first thing that we should do with this data to really enrich the work at the health facility itself. And so the first delivery of Oluwola and Ezra was to deliver this dashboard together with Putu and Dr. Reginald and Mariam on the work of which, statistics should we then show there. And then the third element was now that we have this interoperable data, the data is in repository within each of the health facility, the data is saved, is kept. Can we now visit the data across and compute from these aggregate data so that we can see trends and that we really can be prepared for a next pandemic? We can see the outliers and then investigate it further from there. So this aggregate dashboard was also realized by Oluwola and Ezra very ably with all of those specifications, the data in repository and through the data visiting computed, then sent to the aggregate dashboard and then reintegrated into the internal dashboard so that at the health facility, they would have the analytics of their own data in that specific health facility and the data from our VODAN community. So this is what we had last week. And this is the specification of our CDAR-based localized system. Here you see the work that we have done on the template design and the metadata editor, etc. So you see we did a lot. And here our VODANA onto portal. And so now the revolution of this weekend is that here you see what we did exactly. So I have to let two people in there. Two people. First of all, here you see health facility 1, health facility 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. We said there has to be a one-time data input editor. So the data clerk only does his work once. Then here the data go into instances where now they become machine actionable and harmonized through the vocabulary in CDAR onto portal. So it becomes JSON, RDF, linked semantic data that can be read by the computer. So here you see, first of all, the automated export to the DHIS2 in Pillow, the health management information system. That's the work of Samsung G2 TestFit team. Then here you see the real-time visualization of the data that is here, transported in real time, managed into statistics so that we have nice visuals on the internal dashboards. And then the results of that being included in the aggregate dashboard, which is then pushed back into the internal dashboard. You see that here actually it goes in and then it goes out as the visualization so that it is also visible in the internal dashboard. So all of that is according to our specifications and requirements. Then what Samson and team added this weekend is very, very important for all of us to understand, is that so the machine actionable data with their semantic capabilities, you can really use them to the full if you use the triple store, the Allegro graph. And so that is what now they included in the virtual image. And that means that we have a fourth interoperable use case that has been added to what we are proposing to deploy. And that means that in principles, this now depends on the control and permission settings, but it means that we can have actually dynamic queries. You remember when we did the proof of concept and Mariam sent the query, that we could do now in a dynamic way through all of the 88 health facilities to get very specific results out of that query. Like, is there a patient with this diagnosis of this age, with this treatment and these comorbidities, whatever, and then that could be come up, but of course depending on access and permission. So with this inclusion of the Allegro graph, we have really optimized all of our intentions, and that is that we already mirror what was happening in the facility anyway. The data is being entered and it's being exported to the HIS2 or whatever. So that one we've done. We have added to the possibility in the facility to understand what you can read from this data. So that is here. And we have, and that is pretty amazing, with data in different countries. This has not been possible anywhere, not in Europe, not anywhere. That data, sensitive medical patient data remain in the health facility, but can be visited and from the visiting computed together in an aggregate visualization from which those statistics can be analyzed to see, what the trends are. This is really the crux of our preparedness for a pandemic. Now, with this last edition, the inclusion of the allegrograph, we can really optimize that our data is kind of, machine actionable intelligence, very well described and findable, and therefore findable and computable through the Sparkle queries. I want everybody to really understand that, because I think it's a really big achievement, but it also really brings the whole task that took us so much time and so much work. It brings it really together and to fruition. And if you remember the presentation that Rudwan gave, when Rudwan was saying, we have moved away from big data, we have now smart data, then the smartness of this data is really within using this allegrograph. And really big credits to the McKellar team to also have incorporated this into the virtual image. So maybe I give the floor to Samson to speak about this. And then what we have proposed as a program for today is that Olawale and Ezra will give us a presentation of what now the dashboard looks like. That's important because that is what will be seen in the facilities. And then I propose that we have a very structured process of going through our sheets of responsibilities and then go through the responsibilities. So Dr. Reginald is working, on the signing of the agreements. Dr. Ibrahim is the security officer, Putu, the privacy officer. So if today we ascertain a proposition for deployment, then let us do that in a structured way, so that then that allows Professor Peza, VC, and Professor Francesca to decide whether we have a go on deployment based on all of the recommendations in this team. That is my proposal for today. VC, is this a procedure that you agree with? I have done something. Francesca, is this procedure okay for you?
Yes, Prof, it is absolutely fine.
Okay.
And I'm sure I can speak for the VC as well. We trust our judgment and trust your judgment and the beliefs in the team. So it is absolutely fine, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you. Then let me hand over, first of all, if possible, if the line permits, to Samson. And again, congratulate Dr. Araya and the team there for the huge contributions really to this completion of the architecture. Samson.
Thanks, Prof. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Very well. You're loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prof, also for putting the architecture. It now really looks great, and you've really done it over the weekend it was really impressing how fast you are making the change. Yeah, I think the importance of having this allegograph is we have because we're working on semantic data. We needed to have a triple store, and we tried to search for possible triple stores that we can possibly explore. But given our engagements and given our assessment, which we for further reading is available also on the documentation that's actually shared, we decided to use allegograph, and the bioportal as well is moving to allegograph, and we thought it's a good choice that we make, because as we progress along, we also progress with our partners, and it's sometimes when we pick tools, picking tools which we get support to is also an important aspect, I believe. So the JSON link data that's available in MongoDB contains a lot of sensitive patient data, and we cannot make that directly available for query, and we need to somehow de-identify and select and make data available for research, available for query. That's the whole purpose of us verifying here, because we said clinical data are not being available for research, and with VODAN we are making this to be a reality. And as far as the progress with this is concerned, what we have done is the functionality that CIDR has is it creates the RDFs, but it doesn't store them in a persistent way. It just shows on the fly. And what we did is we created a procedure using the CIDR API to read whatever is available in or collected using our CIDR system, one-time recording to be available for query on allegograph. This is as part of our Fair by Design activity. As part of verification of existing data, we have also added one new feature of bulk upload, and while we bulk upload to CIDR, we make it available in bulk as well to allegograph. So we are verifying somehow existing data as well. And in relation to how we are integrating this, we've recently been working closely with Oluwole, and he offered us access to an image, which is image Nigeria, and we were able to integrate allegograph now as part of the Nigeria image. So it's already installed on the image. Thanks, over and out. If there is a need for presentation, I mean for demonstration, we can do it some other time. But what I can say for now is that I can also do a quick demo if need be, but generally speaking, we are now able to make our data to be available in triple store. Thank you. Over and out, Prof.
Thank you very, very much, Samson. Let me ask in, please answer in chat. Shall we do the demo of Samson? It might be that we go then slightly over time. But we could do that first before we then go to the dashboard.
I think.
Samson?
I think we can also do at the end. I mean, in order not to extend the time, we can proceed as planned. And if there is time left, if there is interest, I can do that at the end.
Thank you very much, Samson. Are there any, let me first ask if there are any questions on the explanation given so far, because it's really important that everybody feels comfortable with this and understands it. So I'm not hearing anything yet. Let me then go first to Oluwole and Ezra, who worked really, really hard and under a lot of pressure to really work with all of the specifications. And it would be great if you can show the dashboard now, Oluwole and Ezra. And Rudwan, do you want to also say something after that on our change of decision to not deploy this with Andrea? I think that's also news for Aliyah, so it might be also good to explain that. Let me first go to Oluwole and Ezra.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Oluwole.
Hi, Luale.
Yeah, good afternoon. Oh, it's a good afternoon here because I'm smiling. Yeah, not just me, Ezra is equally smiling here. So we've been working together, but right now we are actually done. We have finished the dashboard. So I would like to invite Mr. Ezra Misigwa to share the screen and go on with the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Lola has just said it all. I'm overly happy. So I'll go straight to the point. I'll go straight to the point. A couple of things have changed with the way we work with the dashboard. I will just go to, the dashboard is being hosted where we are. So I will just install, I'll just go to the URL, but ideally, if we're working with the virtual machine without the whole networking bit, we'll go to localhost port 8081, I think. But since I'm remotely accessing it, it's in the other part of the room. So ideally I have to use the IP address of the box, of the virtual image. So it's a self-installation and it looks like this. A couple of things have changed, and you just need to set up the MySQL database part of it. That is the database that Prof was demonstrating, where we store the semantic data to make use of, to be able to generate statistics and also have these resultant statistics shared and probably transferred to the VODAN community dashboard. So I'll just verify that. You just need to provide the address of the database, the user, and everything is stored in we've done it before. So I'm assuming a technical person will do this. It's a one-time thing. And then you need to set up the database. It will set up itself. It doesn't really take a lot. It's effortless. Then we thought it was important because in the initial installation, we were not enforcing users to set their facility names. But we thought it's important that you select your country and your facility name. So I'll select Nigeria, and I'll get a list of all facilities we're working with in Nigeria. And I'll select probably this one, looks nice. So I'll update that, and then I'll set up a user account to be able to administer the dashboard. So there's a password that is saved in the browser. I'll make use of that. But ideally, you could just put any password, any email that suits your condition, and it should be done in a second. So you'll have a page. Network issue. It just took a little longer, but it's okay, but I'll just open some other file. Now this file has the information that you need to make a connection, but before we go to that, let's first log in. I'll log in with the details that I provided in the previous step. The first thing you do in the dashboard is to set up the connection between the or right now. To see that it's delaying quite because maybe remote con.
You're just losing them. Can we still hear you, Ezra?
It appears they're having network challenges.
Yeah.
Ezra is still in the meeting, but and the Uluwale, they're in the same place.
That's coming back.
Ezra, you're on mute. You need to unmute.
Sorry. Apologies. Ideally, all the registers at 0, there is no data because there is no connection made yet between the dashboard and CIDR. So all you need to do is to come to CIDR parameters and update that configuration. Now, this information actually comes from CIDR. You have to go to CIDR, pick a template ID. CIDR is running on the local domain. That's why we have .orgx. So we don't expect that to change for now. That's why we put it as a default value. You need to provide the API key, then the COVID template ID and the ANC template ID. So I have those ones on the side. So I will just copy. I already copied them onto the side, but I would expect that you go to see that at this moment and collect them. So this the template ID, the main template ID, which is OPD, is right there. I'll just post it there. You can go to your profile in CIDR and collect the API key, paste it in there. Do the same, go to the COVID template, open it. There is always a template ID in the RDF or JSON data. You can trace it, or even in the URL, you can easily get it. And finally, the ANC template ID. So I'll update this configuration. And one final thing is to sync. So this will invoke the connection between the dashboard and CIDR. So I expect that when I go back to the OPD register and COVID and ANC, I should be able to see some data from CIDR. I think I have around 3 sample populations in OPD. So when I go to OPD register, there should be statistics in regards to that. So for today, I have 2 visits. This is the data. This was entered today, but this month we have overall 3, and we have a diagnosis frequency for today. At least 2 patients were found with typhoid something, and then monthly, as required in the KPIs that was shared. But also we have this data. Once you sync, an update is also sent of these statistics, is sent to the external dashboard. So you can look through COVID as well. There should be data in regards to the statistics. And for example, for today, nothing has gone on, but entirely we have 1 patient. This could be out of this month. That's why everything else is 0, because no data matches this month. Same thing for ANC. So we assume that this happens at every facility, and at the end of the day, we have dashboard.vodana.health. This is public. You can also visit it on your computer. It should have the aggregate data that we've actually just set up from now. It should have a reflection. So at the front page, you have summaries of the facilities that are in the VODAN community. You can take a look at it. This is not private, it's public. You can actually access it from wherever you are, dashboard.vodana. So when I go to the OPD statistics, we should have the same information, because at the moment it's just 1 facility. So, but I would assume if another template group, or I would say countries, installed facilities, installed the dashboard, this would be a collective, a collection point for all the data. And then this collected data is sent to each one of them. This way, facilities can actually share data. So when you go back to your local dashboard and go under the aggregate dashboard, there is the collective data from the external. So this is not expected to tally with the local. This is supposed to be a collective. This under the aggregate database, the aggregate dashboard. Whatever data is here is supposed to be a collection of all the data from the VODAN community. But at the moment, it's tallying because, of course, it's only one facility that has, I would say, deployed at this moment, which is the facility in my house right now. So this is what we have. We believe there are lots of things that we may add if we are given the time, the opportunity, if there is phase 2. There are lots of ideas. There could even be phase 3, phase 4, who knows? Oluwole is telling me there could be 5, but this is what we have for now, and I hope we meet the target and the expectations. Thank you very much, Prof.
That is really wonderful. And in terms of where everything comes together, the API, where you have the output to DHIS, and where also the Allegrograph is located, what does that look like? Because now you have installed the dashboard, right? But you have then also the image that the user sees once it is installed at that end.
We did not make preparations for that presentation at the moment, but Oluwole should be able to show that probably at a later stage, but we did not prepare for that today. Yes.
Okay. Then I go to, thank you very, very much, Ezra and Oluwole, and you really worked your socks off and made so many sacrifices, really. Although I don't know whether it is a sacrifice to work for Oluwole to work at Ezra's, etc., but it really was extraordinary, and really thank you. Amazing job. Ruduan, to you for the assessment of Andrea. You are on mute, or I can't hear you. No.
How about now?
Yep.
Okay, so I really want to say that really amazing work. Like it not only works great, but it looks also amazing. Like the whole installation part, it's a lot of thought went into that, into the user, the friendliness, but also how people ultimately use it. I really don't think anyone could have done that better. It's really amazing. So I have been in contact with actually with Andrea, but one of the issues I found when I started trying to get this machine to work and trying to look how does it actually work, the issue there is that what they're doing is they're giving a management platform, but the things running below that are actually just running on Microsoft Azure servers. So the issue there is, of course, that Microsoft Azure, they're running servers globally. You can select which region you want, but then you need to get the service from Microsoft itself. What Andrea is now doing is that they're managing this level for you. So at this point, we're putting like a middleman into there. And then it becomes difficult for us to know where is our data, where it's going to be managed. I think it is going to be in a GDPR compliant country from what I have seen. But other than that, on short term, it will be really difficult to work with that. And to give these guarantees that it's really going to be, that those aggregates are going to reside in a country where people know they give the agreement to it, that's fine. So I think a really nice solution that Miriam came with, and that of course Oluwole already worked with, was to use the droplets. We know that is residing inside of Africa. This data does not leave Africa. And I found, this is a really good solution to that problem that's been there. And it's also lightweight. I think for this application, we do not need a heavy computer or anything like that. So this is the reason kind of why I made a switch to droplets. And I think this is also a good choice.
Thank you very much, Rudwan. So with all humility, we returned to the to the proposal that I think Oluwola had been advocating for from day one, Oluwola, and with Professor Francesca, mind you, as well. So yeah, we found the way back to the solution you had proposed from the beginning, and with the very good added value that this data will not leave Africa. Oluwola, please go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to inform you that the server has been installed and it's actually in Africa now.
Yes, that is the amazing thing. So that means that we really have an African-based system, and which also from the perspective of latency is very attractive. So I think you were right from the beginning, but we explored it very well. And for sure, Eric, we will still be using Andrea. And it was very, very nice to work with, it is very nice to work with you and Laurens and so on. So, but we thought that for this workaround, it was just easier to do the things in the direct way. So, Eric, I hope, yeah. So
I can add maybe to that, like, I do think still it's a very valid point. Like if you need to have your compute load, like more CPUs, I think in that case, it could be a very good use case. I think for this case, we need something so lightweight, and really the latency, of course, is going to be the primary factor. We want real-time connections. And I think that case, like we really want to be sure that the location is going to be in Africa. And in this way, we have control over that, yeah, without any intermediaries. So that is kind of the concern we have now on short term.
Can I say something? Yeah. I think this is a good decision. I think for the minimal viable product now, this works. And it emphasizes the fact that the localization factor is very important. So this stretches also the Andrea consortium to see how they can solve this. But on the other hand, I would like to deep dive. I saw the documentation how this all met the FAIR principles, because on the A level, some blocks were empty. So I think we have to be fair and say how this meet. And if we scale up, if we, for instance, try in October, have a demonstration in which several independent projects, like we had in the Netherlands, could be combined with CEDAR, what kind of platform then we will have, what kind of functionality we need, and access controls we definitely from all the projects want. So this is a very challenging thing to do in the next step. I think we are progressing now in a good way. Congratulations, you all. This is a good step, and now we can actually demonstrate the fact that it works, that FAIR principles are not only theory, but it can be shown in practice. And the other things we will solve the coming half year, I think. So good work.
Thank you very much, Eric. And let me also read what Araya is saying, and I have witnessed it too, I think Oluwola and Ezra as well. Araya says, my big thanks and congratulations to all technical team members. I can imagine how much energy and time they have put to get all the pieces done and reach at this stage. I'm a witness how Samsung, Gato and TestFit have been working day and night over the past few weeks. Gato had to stay in office the whole night last Saturday to get his part and assignment get completed in due time. Thanks all again and congratulations. And Professor Francesca, I know that you have been witnessing the same from Oluwola and Ezra and Mariam, right?
Yes, Prof, that's right. I join you in congratulating these guys and thank them immensely for all the sacrifices. We had to push and push and push them, like we pushed them beyond the limits, but they were able to hold up. So it's something good. And thank you very much, Prof, for your leadership as well.
Thank you, Francesca. Everything here is a joint effort. And of course, everybody here is to thank for so many things, but also want to mention Aliyah and Putu, who really kept us on rhythm week after week after week, two times per week. They have worked very, very hard too, and everyone, country coordinators, Dr. Reginald, congratulations to all. I want to go back now to the overview of the responsibility. Samson, I'm not forgetting the presentation, but let me just make sure that we do the core business, and otherwise we can always move that to next week. So on this, so our aim for today is to really discuss whether we are ready for deployment. Professor Francesca, and as we know, that is not a decision that we can take lightly and that we should take lightly. So we really need to go through all of the elements. So that's what I would want to do. And maybe first of all, I can ask Dr. Reginald, or if he doesn't have audio, then Putu, to give a short update on the legal agreements. It would have to be the case that the legal agreements are really signed when the machine is installed in the health facility. That is absolutely a requirement. Dr. Reginald or Putu?
Oh, well, Dr. Reginald can explain more, Prof. Miriam, but yesterday we are discussing, there is a minor change in the agreement, but I saw that Dr. Reginald distributed on the email with to the country coordinator. And for the procedure, maybe Dr. Reginald can explain more. But on yesterday discussion, the procedure will be like before the deployment, we will actually it's different, maybe different country, different procedure, but they are waiting for the virtual image ready and ready to deploy, so it can be signed. Dr. Reginald, can you explain more about that?
Yeah, I think three things that are coming out that different countries may have different procedures of signing the document. We already saw this, like what Dr. Raya raised about Ethiopia, and then the difference between Ethiopia and Kenya, just to be aware of how we go about signing the document. For example, in Kenya, if I sign and then the health facility is signed, then the Ministry of Health will just endorse. But the other country will be the other way around, that the Ministry of Health has to start first. So we need to be aware of that. Then secondly, that we know that when they are signing this document, we are also holding the health facilities accountable to the machine they are taking. This is VODAN Africa machine, and it's only for VODAN Africa activities. Then the third point was that once the document is signed, please send it back, scan it, and send it back, then I'll hold it under my custody to hand over to VODAN. Those are the three major points, Professor. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent, Dr. Reginald and Putu. And thank you, Putu, you have put so much work into that. Thank you so much. On the privacy issue, Putu, we have identified the sensitive information part. We have ensured that that is not in the dashboard. It's of course not accessible in the Allegro graph. So I think that work has been done for now, even though I know, having gone through the courses, that you realize, Putu, that there's still more work to be done and also follow up to be done with the health facilities. But I'd say that for the deployment now we have done the necessary. Putu, how are you looking at it?
Yeah, yeah, Prof. Miriam, in last 2 weeks, I really dig deeper on data privacy, and there is one insight about that. So there is a difference between data security and data privacy, and we are I'm happy that we are concerned about that, because data privacy is about purpose. It refers to the purpose of data collection and processing, and privacy reference, and the way our organization manage personal data. So for now, I guess we are in the agreement, so we are state what is our purpose and also what kind of data we are collected. But that's why I always ask you about the privacy course, because we need to create we need to highlight the people, process, and technology. So there are so many things to do in the next phase. For example, like because it is sensitive data, it is health data, it is considered by GDPR by it is sensitive data, so we need to create a data protection impact assessment, and also we should promote to the privacy. I mean, like we should increase the awareness of the health facilities, each of health facilities, and we should we need to remember that we promise that we will follow the Uganda law, and also the local context, and also GDPR. So it means we need to compare which is we need to check one by one the law in EU, GDPR, and also local context, and we find the same and difference between that, and then we can like create the data impact assessment based on that. So a lot of things to do in the next phase, but for now we are good for the with the agreement and data processing.
Putu, you're becoming a real expert. Really excellent. Thank you for that. Then Dr. Ibrahim on the security. So that is, you know, is the data safe? Of course, we have the separate machines. We have the virtual image, all of that to make sure that we have maximum of control. We have also arranged, Dr. Ibrahim, for you that you can check the virtual image in TeamView. So at this point, Dr. Ibrahim, you have already informed me that you are going to do that, to have that check. You will arrange with Oluwola and Ezra. Anything you would like to add, Dr. Ibrahim?
Professor, he says he's on transit.
Yeah, I know he is in a difficult place, but I had discussed with him in advance. So I think he knows what what the task is, and he will be arranging that with Oluwola and Ezra to make sure that he has that he will also give that go. Well, Aliyah, you've done your job. Do you want to say anything at this point?
Well, not really, but might be. I was thinking about including this triple store to the documentation, so that would be very helpful. Yeah.
Great.
So later on we can trace it and also, use it for further purposes.
Yeah, and I have to say that in addition to delivering all of these different parts, the Mekelle team also came with a documentation, which I think I put somewhere, but I can share with you, Aliyah. So they really did that well. And then maybe you make a checklist that you have everything and follow that up. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Mariam.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'd just like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank the whole team, Oluwole, Ezra, Ridwan, Putu, Aliyah, for all the hard work that has been put in this, the past few weeks actually. Get to Professor Francisca for pushing us. It was really great. Professor Miriam, of course, for all the guidance. And of course, Professor Dr. Mpeza for always blessing us with his presence and his well, blessed words all the time. And well, I hope I've not left anyone out. The country coordinators, Dr. Reginald, Dr. Araya, thank you all, and a big congratulations to everyone.
Thank you so much, Mariam. Thank you. Well, Oluwola and Ezra will of course approve. Ridwan will also, Oluwola, is it okay that Ridwan also goes through the VI through the team viewer, so that we just really pick up any last things, Oluwola, before we deploy?
Hello, what did you say, Prof? Sorry, wasn't clear.
Yeah, so we would like to make arrangements that Dr. Ibrahim and Ridwan still take a slot with you to go through the VI with the team viewer to make sure that we just really have picked up on everything and that we can all, you know, we can all vouch for, yes, we can deploy this. I hope that's okay with you. Olawala, we don't hear you. Hello? Then I go to, well, Abdullah, that starts, the work starts on data
Hello?
quality. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, we can set up a meeting so that we go through the process together and they check it out. Of course, that's the audit process. It's very important.
Thank you. Grateful for that. Abdullah's work starts today. Once we start to deploy, we're getting data, and then the quality monitoring starts. And that is the same for Dr. Jamal on the data access permission that relates to the dynamic queries that starts today. And then the capacity building and the data stewardship with Dr. Sakinat and Wondimu will also be starting from today onwards. And then Dr. Araya has looked at, you know, what is the process for the deployment in terms of documenting what happens and also picking up on any difficulties that might be there. So I would like to also say before we go to decision that a little bit on the side, but that all of this work is accompanied by the production of the video that Mariam and Putu are leading on, but everybody, I've seen the video of Olawola and Ezra, is really fantastic. So that is getting ready for next week, that really important conference. And I also wanted to say to especially Jamal and Ephraim, that today is a good day also because we got the release of the tranches of NUFIC. So that means that also we can now deploy in relation to that part, and we will also put all of that together. So that should be followed up really this week with payments being transferred. And meanwhile, Frederick has been working really hard on the VODAN budget and ledger so that we can also make our next payments under that. So all of that has been done behind the scene. And I want to also thank everybody there because that also is a lot of work that we don't necessarily always see, but really important. Ephraim, did you hear that? Otherwise, I'll come to you directly on this. Ephraim still there? Did I see Ephraim there? Tigist?
Yeah, Ephraim is here.
Yeah, I hope you heard this. Okay, then I move on, given the time. So let me now first ask everyone if we can move forward for deployment under the condition, Professor Francesca, I would say that this meeting could recommend that we move forward to deployment with the provision that Dr. Ibrahim audits the process on the security and that also Rudwan does a final audit. Francesca, is that okay with you?
Yes, Prof, absolutely. That is okay. That is okay. I trust our team, so I have no problems saying we can go ahead with deployment.
Excellent. Then let me ask whether we go ahead with deployment. Let me ask Ronald Manhibi is here. Ibrahim says we can go ahead. That is wonderful. I'm just would like to hear from Reginald. He says we can go ahead. That is good. Araya, of course, I think you feel that we can go ahead. Araya, yes. Ronald Menhiwi, yes. Nambobi, we can go ahead. So anyone who has any doubts that we should go ahead? Well, if there are no doubts, let me say 1 and 2 and 3, then I hand that decision to you, Professor Francesca, that under the conditions as specified, it's recommended that you lead the deployment, and you will find Dr. Araya on your side to see how to best coordinate that process. And of course, you have Dr. Reginald on your side to do all the work with the country coordinators who have been so incredibly consistent throughout all of this process. So with that, let me hand over to you, Professor Francesca.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. And very many thanks to the members of our community for giving the go-ahead that we deploy, especially Dr. Araya, because he was the first to actually identify the things that needed to be put in place before we can go ahead. I was personally then wanting us to go and then see if we can do the fixes at the health facilities. But now he chose that part, and I think we're better off for it. So I'm going to be working with the country coordinators to go through the process of deployment in all the health facilities. I know Nigeria, they have been ahead by even inscribing the names on the systems. If the other countries can also follow suit, that would be very nice, so that anybody that comes into a space can readily identify VODAN Africa machines in those health facilities. I'll just wait for the tech team to greenlight that we have the final image, and then coordinate with Oluwole, Miriam, Ali, and the rest of them, and Ezra. We want to make sure that we have the final image, and then the process of download by the health facilities can commence in earnest. Thank you, Prof.
Wonderful, Francesca. And again, big congratulations. I think that we should mark this moment with an online picture. What do you guys think? Shall we all try to put those that can put the camera on so that we mark this? Ah, nice, Francesca, I see you. Oh, nice. Oh, oh, that's Oluwole and Ezra. That's great. So, anyone else? Yeah, I see Ronald, Mingyu, great. So then I go on my first page. Anybody else can do also, and then I go to my next page. So, smile, everybody, and thumbs up. And then I go to my next page. I see Tasfit. So on the next page, I see Gitu and Samson there. So I need to get this one as well. So what am I doing? Yeah. So smile, everyone. Let me do one more. I want to get that heart of Gitu. Oh my God.
Thank you, Prof.
I could not have, I remember when these days, Francesca, when I was reflecting back, and I was so proud. I was thinking of the first day that Mariam arrived on her own in Go Fair, and she was given a place nicely in the office of Bet next to Bet. And so her project was going to be make the Uganda health facility data fair. And that was it. And she was on her own. And now look today what she and everybody around her and with us have achieved, and achieved for all of us, really, because it has been such an interesting journey and such an amazing result that I had 3 presentations today on VODAN, and everywhere people were saying, oh, but now I understand. And there's so much that we can do with this, and everybody start to have new ideas. So I think today is not the end of something, but today is the beginning of something. But more than anything else, Professor Francesca, it has been so much fun. It has been such a pleasure, and it is always so nice. Every interaction with everybody, and even if at times it was hard, it always, you know, you're really like my brothers and sisters, and I can call you any day of the, any time of the day, and it is really an amazing community. So I look forward next week to an amazing set of meetings. Samson and Getu, we look forward to your presentation and really understand that in depth. We know that, Francesca, we know that work will be needed to kind of, do we have the information for the health facilities and so on? So there are all of these other things that will come up. But today we should celebrate and look at next week. The fact that the conference next week is opened by the first citizen of Africa, the president of the African Parliament to the African Union, is doing us an incredible honor. And I think for good reason. I think for good reason, because I think that the issue of the visibility of Africa, the data ownership, the visibility of the geniusness of everybody that contributed to this project, the brilliantness, I don't know if that is English, it really deserves that attention and that celebration. So he's doing us a great honor to be there. Mariam, you have this great task that you need to make a video together with Putu that will impress everybody and anybody. So, but we know you will pull that one off as well. Yeah, we should stay together. I think that we are getting the message across that a lot is going to be possible with what we have done and what we have created. So we now need to take all of the next steps. We need to decide how we want to hold this treasure. What does it mean? But we have a very good organization. Everybody in this organization knows what the responsibility is. We have we're very, very blessed with a hugely capable leadership team with Professor Francesca, who holds everybody together, and the VC who knows how to reach out and to really guide. So I don't want to close this meeting, Professor Francesca. It's for you to close, but I really want to thank everybody and to say I'm just so proud and I'm so happy that I've been able to walk this journey with all of us. And a big, big thank you. Francesca, if you would do us the honor to close this meeting, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Miriam, and very many thanks to everyone, every member of our community, the tech team. I don't want to take so much time, but I personally will email you after this. And then to thank the data stewards, the country coordinators, everybody. Thank you so much for your contributions to us today. Obina, you have been taking our messages to the world. Thank you for the excellent communications. I have one request for today. Obina, please, can you just write a very, very beautiful article on today's event? It's a milestone event. And then I love Professor Miriam's quote. Today is not the end of something, it is the beginning of something else. So please, if you can write something very beautiful for our website that we can publicize to mark this milestone. On that note, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, who is the chairman of our board, I would like to close this meeting, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Francesca. Everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, Miriam.
Thank you, Ole. Thank you, Ezra. Good one.
Oh, funny.
You have such a nice background there. Oh, you are in Liax.
Yeah. I'm in Liax.
Great. So beautiful. So this is great. So Rudwan, now I don't think that we can do the thing right now because they're in the car.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I saw it. Like they're even joining in the car. Like it's pretty wonderful.
yeah, wonderful. Yeah. So maybe Mariam, you can make an appointment, maybe together with Ibrahim and Rudwan, or otherwise at two different moments, but so that they can do the check and then write on the audit. I saw one very small thing, but I think it is those small things that we also now need to pay attention to. And that is that it says aggregate dashboard, but I don't know, Mariam, maybe this is something that you need to advise on. Should it be aggregate VODAN Africa dashboard, or it needs to really be clear, like, because it could also be aggregate in the health facility data. So we need to also check at not just the back end of it, but also the front end, which was very, very well done. But of course they use, okay, this is the aggregate dashboard, so then that is put. But now we need to think from the user in the health facility, what does he read? So you could also choose for VODAN community dashboard, or do you see what I mean, Mariam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one, community
I like
dashboard.
that one too.
Yeah. And that can be done. Yeah, that can be done in the audit, and then we can make the point and communicate it. It can also be changed. That is on your agreement with Oluwola and Ezra. If they agree to change it directly, you change it directly. But in good, which I know you'll do, good collaboration. But I think so. If you can, that was one thing that I picked up, and then. Also that front end, which we didn't see, but you know how I'm sure that they've done a great job because they are really capable, but for a data clerk, at the level of a data clerk, do you know where is the bulk input? Where is it going to HMIS? You know, is it really deployable ready? And if you are not sure, then, or if you have no time, then to ask Araya or Samson, or, you know, we can ask somebody else to do it. That's also fine. But those are the things that we need to make sure, because it would be absolutely wasteful to deploy. And then it is not,
it has
generate the right data because people understand it wrongly or don't know how to get there. And then we have to invest in educate. You don't want that. So this intuitive feeling at the very basic level. I mean, one thing could also be, Mariam, that we still test it, that we say, okay, we do the audit. And then before we deploy at large, we deploy it in with your data steward in what is it, Ishaka, or, you know, something like that. And then
that was actually the plan to deploy. I was thinking that was the plan to test it out first when it's complete, integrated, just to basically see, let me say, if it's the personnel, what appears first. Is it a single sign-on, or do they have to sign into this tool, then this tool, then this? Is it? So yeah.
And then from there, take the notes of what happens and what goes wrong and what is intuitive and what not. And then, you know, that is what Araya can coordinate, so, or that team at least. So I can, we can have a discussion with Araya of how we coordinate that. But most important is to do it systematic. So first audits, then do one or two deployments only. Take the learnings from that, see if something needs to be changed, and then move on from there.
Yep, sounds good.
Good. And are you still managing, Mariam? Because the video is also a lot of work. How are you doing between the final jobs?
I'm just basically waiting for everyone to share the videos now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, everything, like, it was communicated. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. I believe I'll just check with everyone maybe today, later in the evening. And yeah, so.
Super, that is great. So that gives you a bit of time still to think around the process of managing the deployment. And then I don't know, I'm not myself so clear of the structure because I was solving so much at the back. I know Umar is there in Nigeria, that is good. In Addis, we were really solving the problems of the finance because the Tilburg was not releasing. So, you know, Wondimo and Ephraim, I mean, there hasn't just been any release to them. So I was really happy that that came to today. So we know that now we can work with them. So I'll speak to Ephraim on that. And they are good. So for them, we can deploy in Kenya, we can probably deploy in Tanzania, but in Somalia, do we have a technical person there? So yeah, we need to see a little bit, and I don't know who is in charge really of that. So that is still something that could be Putu maybe, but Putu can also not be overcharged because he's all the time doing also a lot. Maybe you can see with him, Mariam, if for the beginning part you manage it together.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really start writing your book, you hand it to Putu. And then Putu can then report on that to Araya.
That's okay.
I think that could make sense because that also is helpful for Putu's PhD. Because he is looking at the whole, you know, the whole social aspect of the adoption. So this thing, following how that works, is right into his street. And then the capacity things for the facilities, I think that should be Aliyah, because Aliyah's PhD is on the capacity building. So do we need anything that is specific for the facilities now or whatever? If you can do the kind of the top coordination and then say, okay, this needs to go to Putu, this needs to go to Aliyah, and then we hand it back to them, and then you can stop doing that, Mariam. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Which means that job for now, which is only maybe 2 weeks or so, is just to identify gaps. What is it that we haven't organized around the deployments?
Okay.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And Rudwan, you are sort of clear, right? You're just going to audit that there is no back exit or entrance or whatever, you know, the thing that that Ronald Manhibi would also find in when Americans put a system in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, exactly.
A secret door.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if we can like audit at the same time with what was the name of the other one? Yeah, exactly, because then we can both kind of discuss this well.
Yeah, and I also said that to Ibrahim, that he needs to make sure that he audits on the, I mean, I can also ask whether Ronald wants to be there. Maybe I'll send him a message. But let's keep that optional to make it not very complicated. And Mariam, if you can then agree a time with Oluwole, because it's Oluwole's computer. So not so much Ezra, but Oluwole, I think. And Ibrahim and Rudwan, that they can do together. You can be there, of course, Mariam. Mm-hmm. And then once I know the time, let me then send an invitation to Ronald Manhibi as well, because I would like him to really feel confident with that. For Zimbabwe, that's a really big issue, which is why it's good that we have them, because then we can also say there is no backdoor. Okay, well, then thank you both. Anything else, Rudwan?
No, I just sent you a message. I think this is just a small thing I think it would be probably better to change my responsibility a little bit, just the naming, because then I have something to check also out, like for this stage, like more data scientist oriented, because now I think machine learning, it won't be relevant until later stage.
Yeah, that is what I thought.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What do you want to change? Because that needs to be changed in the
Oh,
data.
just a naming from a machine learning engineer to data scientist. And I think that's fine, because then I can like also give a sign off on things like fair and on perhaps more kind of things that are related to data.
Yeah.
Because I noticed like today, like we're really also looking at responsibilities.
Yeah.
And this kind of forgot me last time.
Yeah, exactly. It was not so much like what is your research going to be, but it was like what is your authority in
yeah, and I think things like statistics and data science, I can really also give deeper expertise on that and also check off on. I think that
yeah, and of course Mariam in a PhD does also something different from just her responsibility in
exactly.
But we have tried to keep it a little bit logical and close. And I think, that's quite good. Yeah, I'll tell Putu to change that then.
Okay.
Anything else here? You're smiling, that is nice.
He's so happy.
Good. So, wow. What a journey, eh? Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many moments also that it felt like it wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
But then it started clicking together like piece by piece.
Yeah.
There was a moment it felt like everyone was going apart.
Yeah.
But then merged at the end. Nice.
Yeah. The difficulty with a research like the one of Mariam, more even so than yours, Rodwan, is that I mean, there was a clear, now I'm putting my Geik hat. there was a clear problem, and that was very much an academic problem. So, okay, you could always find something around that problem, sure. But whether you were going to actually, design something that was meaningful in relation to solving that problem was really not at all obvious when Mariam started. That was, which year was that, Mariam?
2019.
2019 is when you did your proposal, and then you got your contract in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 2020.
Yeah, and then we started then VODAN started, and then in March or April we started. Mm-hmm. So when in September 2019, when you took that desk, it was like, okay, it's going to say all science needs to comply with fair and so on. That was more or less what there was.
Mm-hmm.
It could have gone, very different.
I know. And all the meetings in that office in the Goffair building. Oh my God.
Yeah. And Mariam wanted to do a very different topic.
What kind of topic?
What was that? It was an evaluation of tools.
Something like that. And it was actually to do with machine learning as well.
Yeah.
Is that how you also came to Fons? Like he is more like interaction or?
No, he came to Fons because we were trying to, once she had been approved, we really wanted to embed her not in FAIR, but in LIACS. And because Fons has Katie and Fons was always interested in FAIR. So he said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So that is, but that was when there was already a proposal, right, Mariam? Yeah.
At that point, actually for the 3 months, it was mostly proposal working.
Yeah.
And then you're thrown into the deep.
Really deep. I never thought we'd have all these countries involved.
Yeah.
It started with just Uganda and just some, you know, a few facilities. And then all of a sudden it just blew up. I was just like, oh my God. I even remember this one day I was with you, Prof. Miriam. I don't know if you remember. I was just like, Prof. Miriam, how are we going to manage this? So many countries now. And then you said, well, I think we then now need to start getting data stewards, in the different countries that will actually make this simpler, because I was so stressed. I don't know whether you remember that day. It was actually the time when now very many countries were starting to come in, and then starting to find data stewards.
Yeah, but the thing was that we really had no idea what it would entail. I mean, we started with that DS Wizard, and but I think your PhD would have been a good PhD if you had done something in one health facility, and we would have really been, you know, okay, that's good. And look at what is there. It is really, really great.
Yeah. And it's really nice. It's, you know, it got so big. Everyone is now able to do their PhD.
Yeah, but I think it is really these last weeks also that everybody has started to understand what it is that we were doing. Because at the beginning, I think there were a lot of people who were thinking like, well, okay, you know, let's be part of this and so on, but not really understanding like, well, I mean, that's also where Rudwan can really kind of explain it in a very logical way. And then you see, okay, that is what we're trying to do. And I feel that that is something that has really started to come about in the last weeks, that it has clicked. And that is why everybody now is really like, yes, you're part of this. We want to be part of this.
Yeah.
So that is nice. And I think for the PhDs that come out of this, that all of that deserves separate PhDs. All of these topics are really, that now needs to be built on the foundation that we have set. That's also why it's really nice that you will do the book, because it will be, you know, you're really the first. I mean, you're the first globally, internationally. There is nothing like this yet. So we can write a book. You can write a book.
What kind of book will you be writing? Like what kind of book is this? On the process or?
It's a book on FAIR.
Oh yeah.
and it will also be on mostly my research as well, and then yeah.
Well, the idea is that, so we're going to do the next special issue for all the documentation of everyone. It makes sense, Rudwan, because PhDs in LUMC, they need to have enough journal articles. So I want to make sure that everybody has the chance to publish, and also they are in some sort of way a little bit easier to find. I mean, people go, you know, the articles, if yourself, you know, when it's book, you're like, okay, do I really need this? But the good thing about a book is it really brings it together. So the book of Mariam will really be about the genesis. Where did we come from? How did it go through the process? You know, what were the steps in the genesis? And then everybody can pick it up from there, and we can have more books, you know, because I have this series. So it doesn't need to be limited to that, but to write on that experience and really also write it from the African genesis and provenance that it has. I think we should do that. We should do it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. And then defending. Is nice. Is nice. Then you'll be Dr. Mariam.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So both of you have been distributing the invitation in LIAX.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
So really great. It would be really nice if you.
Yeah, I'll be posting that new link in the Discord, and the
Yeah.
master students will also see it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're doing that? Okay.
Yeah, I will send it to Discord.
Okay.
And
do
then,
you also have a PhD network at LIAX? Maybe they're also interested. I don't know.
Oh
Okay.
yes, there's
Yeah.
actually a PhD network in here.
Okay, maybe you can do that if you like. Then.
Actually, today evening is when I'll be sending out the email.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
great. And then also to the LUMC, either you or Katie, to the LUMC faculty. You know, I said, did I send you the email address for that? I think I sent it to Katie, but I think Katie is running around, so I can also send it to you.
Yeah, sure. You can also remind me, and then I can look to do that also.
But maybe that will be more correct if I think if Mariam does that, don't you think? For I don't know if I can just give out that. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving it to you, but I mean, since she is within the. But I can't just find it right now. I have to look. I know I found it for. I sent it to someone, so I'll look for it and send it.
Okay.
So let me take a break. 3 presentations today plus this.
And you are looking really nice.
Oh, thank you. You too, by the way. And Rudwan looks
Good
also
one.
very
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh. Sharp.
Professional. Okay, so I leave in your hands, well, the video I'd already done, in your hands the audit ASAP. It will be good that we have some deployment by next week so that we don't fake it either. So that is then something that's, while we do it step by step, you still need to also manage some speed in that, Mariam.
Yeah.
And then we'll, if you keep in touch with, at least with me, on all the gaps that you are finding, then I will try to structure that to Araya, link this up to Putu, link that up to Aliyah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. Well, Rudwan, thank you too. You've really been, I mean, I don't know if we recognized you enough, but you really gave a critical breakthrough on after the summer, well, in the summer, when I don't think that without you coming through that moment, it's very, very interesting, because Samson came through at the very beginning when he was saying Ubuntu and we can just localize it, and then everybody was no, and he said yes, yes, yes. Then he disappeared, and then we didn't have him, and then you took that, Rudwan, and then when we were really not that sure, and you then really said it is possible and this is it. And then it became a matter of really, managing the different parallel use cases of it.
Yeah.
And then Samson and Gato and whatever came back, and then they were really critical in completing the whole architecture. And then you were again one time really, really important at connecting the different use cases, and also making sure that the dashboard was going to be an integrated dashboard, which I still think is, from the user perspective, really important. So I'm really happy about that too. So you really came through.
It's really nice. It worked also really nice together to connect all the components together. Like it's a really became quite complex after a while. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also there was a point, I think everyone was just swimming.
Yeah.
And reflecting. Yeah.
Yeah, and exhausted.
And exhausted.
Aliyah, you know, towards the December, Aliyah was just like, I can't do this anymore. And but I think what has been very nice about you, Rudwan, is that you really kind of got the, you know, every endeavor that you do has a unique selling point. And the unique selling point here can be many things, but the critical one is that it responds to an African issue.
Exactly.
And maybe not created by Africa, but it has become and which can only be resolved within an African leadership. And I think that is something that I also think is a generational thing. I was speaking to the biosemantics. So these are statisticians and so on. So I was going on my technical chair meeting, you know, let me do a technical meeting. And then all of them were asking questions about, yeah, but what are the nature of these facilities? Because how do you avoid that it is biased towards the capitals? You know, maybe you are just thinking that Africa is Nairobi, it isn't, and so on. And I was like, okay. And then another question was coming from yeah, but very nice, but how do you now retain ownership? And, you know, has there been any engineering from an African collaboration? So I said, yes. Because nobody ever asked these questions.
Yeah.
You know, I always feel like I'm religiously saying no. It has no. And now I was getting all these, you know, is this really an ethical project? And, you know, have you really thought about the principles?
The questions.
What?
And then Margot's questions yesterday.
Yeah. I don't know whether this is the kind of the woke thing or the Black Lives Matters, or in this generation, it's different set of questions that come up. Because I come from a situation where my boss there is saying, we don't do anything with Africa, it doesn't matter. And here it's completely a reverse narrative. I am so happy about that.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Completely reversed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I think what's really wonderful also, like you have all the new open source and everything, and everyone can just contribute. Like it's really bringing people together. I think, I really like that. And,
Oh, it's really nice.
Yeah. So, well, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for the after drink.
Oh.
And,
I think really also Miriam. I think we should also really recognize Miriam in this. I think your name hasn't been named enough for
I know, I
all
agree.
the work you do.
I agree, I swear.
Especially when you see your schedule.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even do it?
I know. I've always told her.
Well, it's because I really love every minute of it, so it's effortless. I enjoy, and I really enjoy. Yeah. And what I enjoy also, I don't think this sounds very ceremoniously, but I like the diversity and you know, you all the time find things that you didn't know somebody could contribute.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the thing that I absolutely love. You know, you have Piet in Gijk, and then if you have no idea, you know, Piet is just he comes as a bachelor, the things that he can do.
Yeah.
And the same with VODAN, and the same with you, Mariam, and the same. You start with something where you really have no idea, and then you realize that, you know, everyone is a special gem, and if you can if you can water that, if you can, like a plant, you just make sure that then suddenly you get these amazing flowers, and that is what I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So they're two of my gems.
This last speech just got me a bit. Oof.
Yeah, you just wait for my speech when we do the defense.
Oh my
I'm already
God.
working on it.
See, you just spoke this bit and it just, the last parts, and I just, please save me. I don't want to spoil my makeup that day. I need to take my pictures with my makeup fresh.
You should really be very proud, really proud, really proud. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have come through so well, and there was so much pressure. I'm going to make you cry. I think I'm going to go. Bye, 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 everyone. Bye.
Have a great evening. You also hold up, Miriam.